What is up, fuckers? It is the road to 100k a month, episode 17, I believe, and another consistent fucking week, bro. Again, like it's a lot of the weeks that I've been going through, especially recently, have just been like It's the same fucking shit, bro. It's doing the same routines. It's kind of monotonous, but nevertheless, it's one step closer to the 100k fucking months, baby. And aside from that, again, it was a good week on the charts. Again, it could have been more profitable when I did my analysis and my recaps, which I'll be going all over in this video, and seeing what I took away from it, and obviously we'll be applying going into the next weeks and months to come. But aside from that, let's get straight into this, bro. The intention for the week was precision, and at the time of setting this goal or in this intention, I was like, okay, that's actually pretty sick, bro. Looking back, it's kind of gay, bro. Precision. Like, what are you trying to be precise about, bro? But nevertheless, that was the fucking intention. And I guess when I was trying to set it, I was like, I'm gonna make it like just be precise with everything, just continue being sharp. But it's just gay, bro. But aside from that, I already know the intention going into next week is likely momentum. That's less gayer, I think. But momentum is just there's a lot of momentum that I'm building right now that I want to continue to build upon. Two profitable back-to-back weeks, obviously with the new 10 accounts that we're trading on. It's just about continuing to build on that. So that's really going to be my intention, unless it changes when I do my reflection a little bit more later. But going into Monday, actually a fun thing that I have been doing, I've started to do sleight of hand. I already put this on my notes here. I've been practicing, bro. I think it's a good skill for me to learn, bro. It's one of those cool things that I'm learning a lot, and there's a lot of key lessons that I will be maybe I might unpack the more I go through. But it's a very interesting hobby. It's a very interesting skill to learn. Nevertheless, onto the charts. Or actually, I'll put up a screenshot of the P&L as tradition. That's the P&L. It can seem good, but at the same time, it could have been better, bro. I'm not going to lie, bro. There was a lot of trades that we could have took, better setups that we could have took, more profit that we could have made. Nevertheless, bit by bit, bro. But going into Monday's bias was pretty much we had a massive pump from the week open. We had a clean new week opening gap below as well. Looking bullish. I suspect a bullish day, but really good draws of liquidity to the downside from previous sessions and obviously the new week opening gap. Let's see. We ended up going bearish. We saw the previous New York highs plus Asia low plus the new week opening gap as a high probable draw of liquidity, despite the high time frame being bullish. We tagged into the 1 hour, we inversed out of the 1 minute, entered quick scalp, textbook fucking trade, bro, on the pullback model, fucking fire as fuck. Thoughts sized regularly due to high time frame being bullish. Yeah, I would have sized a little bit bigger here, I'm not gonna lie, if it wasn't for the high time frame being bullish. I think it ended up being a bullish day regardless after we filled. I could be wrong. But post session, uploaded on IG the first reel. So a lot of you, if you follow me on IG, I have started to upload my reels, my trades on Instagram. So you guys can check that out. It's Jake Wood, same as my YouTube. And I uploaded that. So got off the charts, GG's, price dumped, but took my W and onto the next. Yeah, I think it actually went even lower, bro. I think that was the case. But going into Tuesday, bias could be a bullish day. We had a huge sell-off yesterday, as well as taking out previous week's low to a wick. We had the new week opening gap filled, 1 hour V-shaped recovery. Wouldn't be surprised if draws of liquidity above is the play for today. We did form 2 bearish 4-hour gaps yesterday, but price is just in that range. Will be interesting to see if we break through that or respect it, and likely look for shorts to target draws of liquidity below. Let's see. We ended up going bearish. High time frame looking bearish at open. We took out previous session draws of liquidity. Wanted to see a pullback if we were going to go for shorts. We pulled back into the 30-minute and the 1 hour. We inversed the 30-second, entered, and then thoughts was a late fill. But did that fucking shit smack? Nah, bro. Fuck, bro. That was a stop loss. Yeah, we had a bit of a late fill, but I put here, wouldn't have mattered either way. It would have got triggered. Not the best trade, to be honest. Should have executed with 2 micros as well. Later in the session, before 11:30 cutoff, told myself it could be a no trade day, but it is what it is. Yeah, so for me, bro, price action on that day wasn't the best, bro. when I recalled it, it wasn't the best. I think it had a little good move to the downside. So actually, I'll put up a picture of the recap. That would have been the entry. The reason I didn't take it was 6 minutes into market open. And in my head, I was like, bro, that shit's too fucking early. But I have been realizing, based off my data and just based off intuition, bro, trades have been happening early in the open. Like, I've been usually like 10, 15 minutes from market open, no fucking trades. But that was a clean fucking setup, bro. We tagged into the 1 hour, we had an inversion there. And then to target those draws of liquidity below would have been a perfect trade. But nevertheless, I think it was an itch, bro. I knew exactly as well once that move started to happen, and then you can see the chop. I knew inside me, like, bro, this is probably gonna be a no trade day. But I took a fucking trade, bro. Like, I should. Again, I don't want to say it's not a valid trade because again we tagged into like likes of the 30-minute and the 1 hour. We had that inversion, but it's just I don't know, bro. Yeah, it's not a good trade, bro. I think I would have been better off getting off the charts. Is what it is, bro. But that was on Tuesday, post session. Also, yeah, I think it was the end of the TGR Island. Like I said, I've been watching a little bit of it when I was doing it, and then I think it was like the 1v1. Gentry was low-key my guy, bro. I think he lost. Everybody hated him. You know, there's one thing about me, bro. I love the fucking underdogs, bro. I love the people who are hated. I love the people who are, you know, the underdogs, bro. I never like to see, in whatever it was, it's a really interesting phenomenon for me. But I never like to see the big boys win. I like to see the underdogs. I like to see the people who people just underrate. They're just the underdogs, bro. And so in my head, that was him, and he fucking lost, but it is what it is, bro. All these motherfuckers happy as shit, bro. Sad motherfuckers, bro. But aside from that, oh yeah, and then there was actually some fire sauce after, post-interview. If you guys actually want some sauce from like when it comes to making mistakes in life and making losses, making like having the mindset of losses make you better, watch the post-session interviews in that stream, bro. It was genuinely fire advice, bro. And essentially, in summary, losses make you better, bro. No matter what times you're going through, no matter what's the fucking circumstances, mistakes, losses, L's, setbacks, they only make you fucking better, bro. They only give you more callous when it comes to your skill and discipline, bro, and experience. And there is no such thing as a fucking loss, bro. I always had that mindset as well. You either win or you fucking learn, bro. There is no losses, bro. And that interview, that post session was actually really good, a resource that you guys can check out. But Wednesday, we return, the return of journaling, bro. Write things into existence. One thing I've been doing, it was one of my intentions going into the start of this week and the weeks to come, and it's been a really good practice, and I'm going to continue fucking doing it. That's journaling. Journaling, the way I journal, I'll give you my everybody has their different ways of journaling. I'll tell you mine, bro. I like to speak things into existence, bro. I'll journal from the version of the 100K month version. Sometimes I'll even journal from the fucking millionaire version of me. And the fucking 8-figure, 9-figure millionaire version of me. And I'll journal that shit, bro. And I'll speak about, I'll just speak things into existence, bro. Even one thing I did, and I've noticed, like fucking 40% of my journal is just me, like affirmations, bro. I am this, I'm unstoppable, I'm whatever. And I speak things into existence and watch that shit, bro. That I'll read back on that and every single one of those things would have fucking happened. Everything I write. And the reason I think it's a good sort of habit that you guys can build is that it reinforces a lot of things into existence, as I just mentioned, but it can also give you that time to reflect on the day, bro. When you journal, you realize you have a pen and you have a piece of paper, and you need to summarize your fucking day, bro. And it has that level of accountability where it's like, you better have done shit. You better not have just sat on your fucking ass doing nothing, bro. You know, every single day has to be a step forward in some shape or form. So by journaling, it gives you that sense of reflection, but at the same time, you speak that. I use it as a platform to speak things into existence, just how you would visualize and you would meditate, as I do as well. Putting it on fucking paper, making that shit real, looking back at it is super fucking key. And I started to do that. Return. I used to do that shit all the fucking time when I started my whole self-improvement journey. I used to do it all the time. But aside from that, the trade. Bias, high time, bearish. Removed the 4-hour gap from the chart, wasn't cleanly respected. We had a bearish 30-minute gap formed, clean draws of liquidity to the downside. Would like to see how we react off the 30-minute. Could be a key indicator today. We had 2 p.m. federal funds rate with the interest rates, 2:30 FOMC meeting, blah, blah, blah. And then we ended up going, so the first trade was bullish. I think this was the day, no, it wasn't. Again, we had bro, I think it was Thursday or Friday. Oh my God, bro, we'll go into that. But bullish, it was a reversal. We tagged into the key zone where we retraced multiple times. Key draws of liquidity swept, dumped from the open, inverse the 30-second, entered. This wasn't a good trade, bro, I don't think. Yeah, my thoughts were I wanted shorts, bro. And so I'll attach the screenshot. That's where I think I should have gone for the shorts. So there was a 10-minute gap. So it ended up from market open, we pretty much dumped. And so from market open, we had a little bit of a pullback. And that pullback was onto the 10-minute. And so what ended up happening, though, there was a 30-second gap. But on like the 28th or the 29th second, it closed. So there was no clear gap. I should have fucking still entered, bro. Because that would have been a 29-second fair value gap instead of a 30-second. But my ass just stood there and didn't do anything about it. And then that would have been such a clean trade, bro. Genuinely, that was the trade of the day. But the trade we ended up taking was, again, bro, my mindset was like, we can only go down so much. And my ass tried to fucking catch the fucking reversal. Didn't end up fucking working out, bro. And so, as I put in the recap, shorts were the play. Was going into execute into the 30-second, whatever. Should have took as an indicator of aggression. And by the way, that recap of the 30-second closing before I could enter should have been more of a sign of like, we're moving with aggression. And that's exactly what it fucking did, bro. And that's that. But, yeah. I think another thing I could have done as well is probably cut my losses early. So if I look at my trade on the longs, I think I put here in my notes. I should have cut the trade a little bit early. Once I saw that price was actually reversing from that key level where price kept on rebounding, I should have cut my loss early, bro. And so that should have been that. Nevertheless, is what it is. Lesson learned again. But again, that was, I think, yesterday then. Yesterday in terms of, was it Tuesday? Tuesday and Wednesday could have been 2 fucking W's, bro. But silly mistakes. I think one thing as a trader that these are the things that I intrinsically already know. I know these mistakes, but I think one thing, I'm going to make a hypothesis as a trader. I think sometimes no matter how your trading goes, I think you're just going to have weeks in a year where you can do everything right and still some things can go wrong. Even your mindset, bro. I think my mindset and how I was outside of the charts was dialed the fuck in, bro. Once again, on point. But I'm still missing little things. Like these are like, looking back at it when I reflected on these, and as I'm saying this right now, they're not hard concepts. They're not things that are hard to grasp. They're basic things. But I think the universe can work in a way where perhaps you don't have that being on point aspect to you. And I guess it was just one of those weeks for me where it's like things that I already know, but it just didn't work out, bro. But again, I'm reflecting on it and I'm like, fucking bro, come on, motherfucker. Like, but anyways, bro, that was the recap. Another thing I will say, post-session, this is actually a pro from this week. I was completely desensitized to the loss. I made this prediction when I started this journey. By the end of the year, wins or losses, I'm going to be pretty unfazed in terms of my emotional state, how I feel. I think that shit's going to happen before the end of the year, bro. Because that was the first day where I had that loss, didn't feel a fucking thing, bro. And whether that's me starting to slowly but surely build more conviction, getting more reps in the markets. I think it's been like 3 months now, 4 months since we've been on this journey. It's starting to kick in, bro. But I was completely desensitized to the loss. I was unfazed, bro. Like literally, bro. But going into Thursday, the bias, we had a huge sell-off yesterday post federal funds rate plus FOMC. This is actually fucking funny as fuck. That was like that hedge fund guy who was pretty much, for those that don't know, I mean, if you're watching this video, you probably should know if you're a trader and like you're in the business sphere. But that 22-year-old, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, bro, but got liquidated, and big boy Ken Griffin was Citadel, just bowled that motherfucker out, bro. Crazy story, bro. There was a lot of conspiracies as well in terms of like, did they short the market with the interest rate saga? And then I think on Friday was the testament to that. But or Thursday, we just blew the fuck up, bro. I think it was Thursday actually. But nevertheless, bro, fucking hell, bro. Huge sell-off yesterday, post-federal funds rate plus FOMC. Asia and London session broke structure back to the upside. Only clear respected zone was currently the 1 hour and the 30 minute. Would be looking to see how price reacts to them levels and proceed from there. And I think this was a trade where we didn't get that and it just kept fucking bull running. So that's what ended up being the case. From the open, bull run. Literally no fucking retraces whatsoever. We were bullish from the open, we were bullish high time frame. What ended up happening is we pulled back into the 5 minute and that was the trade. We inversed the 30-second and then the target was the relative highs and the previous New York highs, entered with 3 contracts. And a valid trade, bro, low-key. It was one of the key, first time we had a retrace and we still had the draws of liquidity to the upside. But that was a break even. And what ended up happening was a little bit later, took a trade. We ended up breaking structure to the downside on the high time frame. We tagged into the 5 minute, kind of same similar setup, inverse the 30-second, entered, and another break even. After the break even, we took pretty much the same setup. I think it was like 6 minutes later, same setup, re-entry, break even. I don't think I've ever had one of those days where I had 3 break evens in a fucking day. And honestly, bro, yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to probably put that into words, but looking back at it, solid risk management. Genuinely, bro, it was really good risk management. I think 2 out of the 3 trades would have been complete stop losses. One of them, I think it was the long at the start. That was I think that hit TP1. But nevertheless, it could have completely reversed, and it was a good break-even decision. But I put here good risk management. Would have preferred longs from the open. But just once again, as I put in my bias, I'll put up a screenshot of the 5 minute. We just didn't tag into the 30 minute nor the 1 hour. And that's where I wanted to see price tag into and swipe liquidity before making the move to the upside. But we just fucking bull run from the fucking open, bro. Is what it is. And yeah, bro. And then Friday, last trading session of the week and the month. And in the bias, we had 2 new 4-hour gaps formed. Good draws of liquidity to both sides. High time frame bullish, but Fridays have always been unpredictable when it comes to high time frame bias. It's actually one thing I've noticed from my data. No matter what the high time frame is saying, Fridays are genuinely unpredictable from what my data shows when it comes to high time frame trend. So I'd like to see how we react off the key zones like the 4-hour gaps and the liquidity pools and capitalize from there. Indeed, we did so. Bearish. High time frame, I think, broke bearish. I think initially it looked kind of bullish, but then we broke bearish. We broke past the 4-hour gap, which was the key zone. So initially at the top of that 4-hour gap, so you look at the trade, at the top of that 4-hour gap, I actually was looking to take longs, but we never ended up getting the inversion. And then I realized as price was breaking through that 4-hour gap, we're selling pressures is outgrowing bullish and the buyers in the market. So as we broke past that 4-hour gap, in my head I was like, okay, bro, we have these previous New York draws below. This is gonna be a bearish setup, and so we broke past the 4-hour gap. The previous day New York levels below, inverse the 30-second, entered, and I said this on my reel when I posted this. A little bit fucking greedy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like we had a really good entry in terms of where we got filled. And we entered with 3 contracts at that key level, at the second previous New York level. We had 2 micros that we executed out of the 3. But then I was greedy, bro. I was like, bro, we're going to dump even more. Not realizing, bro, that was a 5.5 risk to reward trade. That's way bigger than I usually do. And I think it was like a 2K day across our accounts. It could have been a 3K day, or I think it was like 3.5. If we had just took out, again, another contract at that key level and just wrapped it up. And so the lesson I learned there was, I think I'll give myself the exception, on any other given day in the market, I think that has a decent probability of being able to be swiped and swept to the downside. But being that it's Friday's volume always drops off. Institutions are getting their orders out of the markets ahead of the weekend. My ass should have known that, bro, and been like, bro, you got your key level. Take your contracts out. Get off the fucking charts, bro. It's Friday, and luckily we got 2 out of 3, but it could have been 3 out of 3. And I do think those moments are what can make your P&L a good P&L. Is not making silly mistakes like that. And I wouldn't even say it's a silly mistake. It's a learning point. That's the way to look at it, bro. It's a learning point that could have been avoided. And then that was the 5 minute. I think we ended up going a little bit more bullish as well. But aside from that, trading wise, that was the end of the week, bro. I mean, aside from that, like I said, it's just the weeks that I'm going through right now. It's the same shit, bro. Like I said, I think I mentioned it in prior episodes. I have like 70 days until my rent expires or some shit. I think it's like October or something, mid. And bro, we need these payouts, bro. Otherwise, I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen, bro. But honestly, bro, my mindset, bro, with whatever happens in my life, as I alluded to earlier in this video, mistakes and setbacks and losses only make you fucking better, bro. If I end up having to downgrade apartments and live in like the worst parts of Dubai, bro, because that's what I have to do, bro, then that's what I have to do, bro. It only makes the story fucking better. But genuinely, I'm hyped as fuck, bro, because this is these next sort of like 60, 75 days are gonna be sick as fuck, bro, because it's all on the line, bro. I went over my finances review. My net worth is dropping by the day, bro. And a lot of things are about to pop up on the pipeline that need to be handled. And we need to make this shit work, bro. And this is what I like, bro. There's something about me that, and I think I mentioned this in another previous episode. One thing you'll notice about me, bro, and the way I'm wired, I like the fight, bro. As much as I like the outcomes of having the audacity to say, fuck it, I want to do this thing because I can, and I'm going to, and achieving it, part of me likes the fight, bro. I like the struggle, bro. I like when shit doesn't go to plan. I like when shit hits the fucking fan and it shows your true fucking colors. I don't know if that's a fucking healthy mindset, bro. I look at it as a healthy mindset, bro, because it makes you perform, but that's the current circumstance we're in, boys. So we got to keep locking in, bro. It's Sunday, fresh, pretty much 2nd of August, and new month to begin again, another trading month on Monday, and another chance to prove ourselves that we are who the fuck we say we are, and it's just a matter of fucking time and consistency, and we're gonna run this shit up, bro. So aside from that, whoever's watching this, a shorter episode today. We went through all of the points pretty quick. We didn't have a lot of trade volume as well. I think we took like 1-2 setups, apart from like that Thursday day. But aside from that, we'll wrap it up there. So I hope you guys had a good week. I hope you guys have a good week going into next week. And aside from that, keep fucking crushing.